All right, now that we've gone through the comparable sales, the next step is to get us hired to represent you in the sale of your home. Does that sound good? Excellent. So the first document we have here is one of several documents created by the attorneys of the state of Colorado. These documents are not created by me nor by eXp Realty, and we can only fill in certain checkboxes and certain lines, things that will pertain to you. For example, these same documents can be used to sell a pizza shop or a farm or lease a property, and we are not doing those things, so we will not fill them in. Sound good? Excellent. So the first document here is the definitions of working relationships. There are three ways in which I can work with you in the sale of your property. The first is seller's agent, second, transaction broker, and third, as a customer. As a seller's agent, I will work solely on behalf of you, the seller, to promote the interests of you with the utmost good faith, loyalty, and fidelity. I will be seeking a price and terms that you are looking for, and you'll have a listing agreement in place which sets forth the duties and obligations of me. The second item is as a transaction broker. Some brokerages and realtors choose to work as a transaction broker as it really reduces the liability on them if they make mistakes, and it does not allow for advocacy or to promote your best interests and work on your behalf. So as a transaction broker, if you were to ask, what do I think about a certain idea, or what should you do moving forward, I would tell you that's a great idea and to figure it out yourself. No, we work as a seller's agent where we're going to give you the advice and we are going to advocate on your behalf. As a customer, the third option, there are really few scenarios in which we would work in that way. I choose not to. And if we come to that, we will discuss it then. But basically, that would be no relationship with you if we were representing the other party instead of you. All right. So signing this just tells us that you have been explained all the details here. And as it says at the bottom, it is not a contract. Perfect. The next one here is the exclusive right to sell a listing contract. This one is a contract as it says, and we will fill in only certain bubbles and lines that pertain to the sale of your property here. So at the top, we have seller's agency checked. Just as we talked about before, we have today's date. And section 2, we are a multiple person firm. We have more than 45,000 realtors at our company. It is not Cody Walker Realty. At the bottom, we have your name spelled out as it is in public record. Is that correct? Excellent. We have eXp Realty LLC as the brokerage firm. We have my name and my team members' names here as the broker. You will likely not be working with them throughout this process unless I were to go out of town or be out of cell service. Below that, we have the county of Weld, Colorado. We have the legal description of your property, and we have the home address. Does everything sound good? Perfect. We'll skip the bottom of this page. It's about lease and affordable housing options, which do not pertain to your sale. We'll go into the top of page 2, the listing period, which begins today and will end in 1 year's time. This contract will terminate upon the sale of your property or upon your termination or cancellation of this agreement. Section 3.9, computation of period of days deadline. This is saying that the dates and deadlines will be extended to the next day if any of the dates and deadlines in the purchase agreement fall on a Saturday, Sunday, or a holiday where the title company would be closed. Section 4 are the brokerage relationship items that we just went over in the last document. The following box here at 4.3.1.2 is seller agency only. This box being checked means that I will not be changing my relationship status with you. And if it does need to happen in some outlying circumstance, we will have it done on a amend extend with broker, separate document, nice and easy, but it'll never be done without your permission. Section 5, brokerage duties. All of these items boil down to 3 checkpoints on the next page. Feel free to read them now, go through them later, but really they boil down to these items on section 6. Promoting the interests of you, the seller, with the utmost good faith, loyalty, and fidelity. Seeking a price and terms that are set forth in the seller listing contract, and counseling you, the seller, to any material benefits or risks of a transaction that are actually known by broker. Section 7, this is the only time I will talk about price. Section 7.1, our commission is 6% of the gross purchase price, and 3% will go to a buyer's agent, or 3% will go to a transaction broker who brings our buyer that will ultimately end up purchasing your house. We want to make sure we're paying a good commission out to them so we can get the most salespeople possible bringing buyers to you. The bottom of this page here is the start of the only portion that protects me. Section 7.2.3 is the holdover period that says that within 99 calendar days after the listing period, that if I were to negotiate the sale of your property to a buyer and you were to terminate me for whatever reason, which we hope does not happen, that I will be owed a success fee if you use that same contract and buyer that we worked with previously, just to ensure that if we're doing good work that we do get paid for our success. Is that fair enough? All right, well, it's never happened. Hopefully it doesn't. We'll continue to do great work for you, but that's just in there to cover me. Section 8, limitation of third-party compensation. This section talks about us not being able to get any compensation from any other person or company in connection with the sale of your property without written consent. So if I refer you a gardener, a mortgage lender, a roofer, or anyone of the sort, I will not be receiving a kickback or a payment of any kind. It's just out of the goodness of my heart, and I think they'll do a great job for you for a great price. All right. Section 9.1. This property will be submitted on one or more MLS and will be submitted to one or more property information exchanges. This is how we get your property marketed and sold for top dollar. Moving down, we will use electronic and other marketing methods. We will use multiple MLS services. We will have your property address displayed on the internet, and we will be displaying your property on the internet. Going below section 9.2, we will be using a manual lockbox on your house, and with your permission, we will change the code after the inspection is complete. We can change it again after the appraisal. We can really change it as frequently as you would like to make sure that no one from previous portions of the sale process have access to your house. Just let me know if you would like to do that. We can also take care of that by using an electronic lockbox and updating the code along the way. Section 9.2.2, this is where we choose who has access to get into your property. Typically, we're choosing actively licensed real estate brokers who have undergone an FBI background check and are currently in good standing, licensed appraisers, and unlicensed inspectors. It's also up to you to choose whether the realtor is allowed or has to accompany the inspector during their inspection, and such if a buyer would like to come for the remainder of the inspection, who they must be accompanied by. So that is all up to you. We value your security. Section 9.3, broker marketing. Right here, I just fill in that anything deemed necessary by the broker to perform the sale of the house, just so that we can stay flexible and make sure that anything that comes up, we are able to do to pivot quickly and get your property sold. Sound good? Okay. Section 9.3.2, this is where you would write in any portion of your house or property on your house that you do not want photographed. Typically ask if it's something that we can avoid. That would be excellent, and we'll hide those items, put them out of reach, put them in a safe, move them to mom's house, but we just want to keep all your belongings safe and keep you secure. Section 10, seller's obligation to broker. This is saying that you are not currently signed in a listing agreement with another broker licensed in the state of Colorado for the sale of this property. Is that correct? Excellent. And this is saying you have not received a list of submitted prospects from that other agent. Okay. Moving down is section 11. This is price and terms. We just went through all of the comparable sales. So is the price we just talked about still good to you? Excellent. So we'll write that in here. And in that price point, we can accept cash, conventional, FHA, and VA loans. So we'll check those boxes. And we'll leave the next two sections blank for lenders to fill in. Section 11.5 is earnest money. We'll fill in 1% of your sale price in the form of a cashier's check. We want to make sure that buyers are submitting a cashier's check because it is currently verified funds. They do have that money and it has already left their account. Whereas a personal check can take up to 14 days to close, and we want to make sure they have some skin in the game. Section 11.6 is seller proceeds. You can choose however you would like to receive funds at closing. The options are cashier's check, wire transfer, and closing company trust account check. We can check them all here and you can take care of it later with the lender. Does that sound good? Okay. Next question I have to ask everyone just to be sure. Are you a US citizen? Okay. Thank you. If not, just have to pay a lot higher taxes and we would need to disclose that for closing. All right, section 13, everything fixed to your property physically with a screw or otherwise is attached to the sale of your house unless otherwise disclosed. So all these things here listed, if they exist, are included with the sale. Please go through and make sure that that it looks correct. Check for the solar panels, water softeners, security systems, and satellite systems if you have them, and make sure you include how many remote controls you have for your garage. All right. There are no leased items here, correct? No propane tanks or anything similar. Okay. Section 13.2, the exclusion period. Again, anything fixed to your property is included unless otherwise noted. It is common knowledge that your personal property is not included, and it doesn't mean anything if we write it in there. But we'll write it there just to let people know that your items are not for sale, and we can include anything else that you're wanting to make sure of. If you have any prized rose bushes or maybe a fixture on the wall that you just need to take it off. Chandeliers will be included in that. Section 13.4, if you have a detached outbuilding or garage, we'll just need to include it there. Do you have any water rights or mineral rights on your property? Okay, perfect. We'll leave that blank. And you have city water, so we will not fill in the well area. Otherwise, we would put in a well permit number. Section 14 talks about title. The first one there is conveyance. We will convey the deed of the property with a general warranty deed. Standard process there. And section 16, your association, and I think you told me was $50 per month. Is that correct? Excellent. And possession will be delivery of deed. As soon as the property sells and the deed is transferred, the new owner will get possession of the property unless you need to lease back the home and give possession at a later date. 18.2, this is your seller's obligations. This is saying that you will agree to provide a seller property disclosure. It is not required to submit this document, but it is required for you to disclose any current knowledge of any defects on the home, things such as the roof was repaired last year, there's a crack in the foundation, there's no GFCI in the kitchen, or there is peeling paint. Anything of the sort that you know of will have to disclose. Same with lead-based paint. And for the sale of a house in Colorado, you are required to have carbon monoxide alarms present. The condition of the property is based on the existing condition, based on the state of contract, and it'll be up to you to keep it up. Section 19, rights of parties to cancel. There's a few ways here that you can take a look at that are your rights to cancel, such as abandonment or failure to fulfill the obligations. But I like to leave it open. If you do not want to work with me because you do not think I am working in your best interest or advocating for you, then please let me know in writing with 24 hours of notice that you're terminating this agreement, because I do not want to work with people that do not want to work with me. Our intention is that we're providing a stellar service for you and you want to tell all your friends and family how great we are and send us your referral business. Next is my rights to cancel. There's really only two reasons that I will choose to terminate a contract with a client. And that one is if you discriminate against anyone for any reason, or two, if I don't hear from you in an appropriate amount of time, such as if we have a 2-day deadline and I don't hear from you for 2 weeks and it cancels, then you're probably not the right client for me. Fair enough. All right. Section 20 does not happen often, but if a buyer is in default of a contract, which is rare, then you will be getting 100% of the proceeds paid out. I will not be splitting them with you. All right, section 21, cost of services and reimbursement unless otherwise agreed upon in writing. The brokerage firm must bear all expenses incurred. So if we choose to pay for any marketing or such to get your property sold, it is our expense. And we will not have any expenses incurred that we will have you liable for unless otherwise agreed upon. Fair enough? All right. So next we have disclosure of settlement costs. This is saying that you will get a copy from the title company prior to closing of all the expenses and credits you'll receive, exactly how much money to bring at closing, and all, everything will be broken down, easy for you to take a look at. We'll review it prior to closing. Sound good? Okay. Section 23, maintenance of the property is up to you. Negligence of the property can affect the sale. So just make sure you're keeping up on it. Ask for help if you need. Sound good? Okay. Non-discrimination, again, we will not discriminate against anyone for any reason. We will leave it there. Section 25, recommendation of legal and tax counsel. I am not an attorney and I am not a lawyer. So if you need a consultation, I can recommend someone to you and help you get the right help. 26, mediation is the free version of legal counsel. Typically, most problems can be fixed just by talking it out. Section 27, attorney fees. If you need an attorney, you pay for it. If I do, I will. The loser or prevailing party will be paying for all reasonable costs and expenses, including attorney and legal fees. We have never had that happen, and hopefully that continues. Section 28, additional provisions. This section will be blank. In 29, this would be blank unless, for example, we had a lead-based paint disclosure. Section 31, we will provide copies and information to you through fax, email, and text. It says fax, but I don't know how to use fax, so we will keep it with email and text if that's okay with you. All right. There'll be no modification of this listing contract. If there is any changes made, we will make sure to get them in writing with everyone's signatures. Sound good? All right. And that's the end of our contract here. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about our team's ability to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the least amount of time? Excellent. Well, I appreciate your trust. All you need to do is sign here. Perfect. Thank you so much. Again, we appreciate you putting your trust in us to get your home sold. We're going to do an amazing job for you. You're going to be really happy with our services. And of course, you're going to want to tell all your friends and family what a great job we did for you, getting you the most money for your home. We just have a few more documents here, a couple of disclosures through EXP. It'll make your process a little bit more streamlined and less work down on the back. So we'll get these filled out now. The first one is the affiliated business arrangement disclosure statement. This is saying there are a few companies that EXP works with on a national basis that if we choose to work with them and you pay them for their services, we can be paid a small fee in return. The first is IntroLend First Cloud, and the second is Silverline Title and Escrow. There is a third not mentioned here, which is America's Preferred Home Warranty. I don't use any of the two listed here. We may look at the home warranty company if it's the best fit for you. Just know that signing here means that you understand we could be paid around $50 to $100 for these services being used. All right, so sign there. Thank you. The next document here is a wire fraud advisory notice. This is a very real document, a very real problem. Scammers are getting good at what they do, and it looks very real. So if you have anyone asking you for wiring information, that something looks fishy, or they send you an email with a wiring number that you need to send something to, please call the title company or myself directly so we can take a look at it. Just know that the title rep who you have spoken with previously and been introduced to will be the person that is going to be contacting you either over the phone or they will send you a secure portal. Again, if anything looks fishy, please reach out. We don't want any money sent to the wrong place. Signing here just says that you understand that. All right. The next document here is the lead-based paint disclosure. We'll fill this out if your house is built prior to 1979, just to be sure. So we'll fill in your address and anywhere that says seller, so seller 1 and 2, acknowledging that you have no knowledge of any lead-based paint or that you do. And the second section there is saying that you do not have records pertaining to lead-based paint, or that you do and they have been provided. So check which ones are correct there and sign at the bottom, please. Perfect, I'll sign there. All right, the next document is the source of water addendum. This just states where you get your water from your property, whether it's a well or city water or public water source. So please use your last water statement and just fill this in for me. Excellent. When you're done, just sign at the bottom. And the next one here is the square footage disclosure. This document, again, pretty simple. It's just the source of where we got the measurements for your property. I typically use the assessor's office, going through a portal and just copy and pasting in there. So we'll say the assessor's office is the source, obtained today. Here's the square footage, and sign at the bottom acknowledging. Perfect. I already signed up there. And the next and final document is the seller's property disclosure. This document here is a pretty long one, but it's very important. Like I mentioned before, it is required by law for you to disclose all material defects of your property with the sale of a property. So just go through here, read the question verbiage very carefully if it says ever existing or now exists, and fill into your current knowledge. That means sit at your kitchen table and without looking around or asking someone else, just fill it in to the best of your knowledge. Comment things such as roof replaced 2018, basement flooded 2017, professionally mitigated, no GFCIs in the kitchen, or just very simple comments like that. Leave it blank if you do not know. On page 5, we're going to fill out the source of water again, just so it's here as well. And as soon as you're done, again, just going through to the best of your knowledge, not taking too much time. It should only take 5 or 10 minutes. Just sign at the bottom, and we'll give this to the buyers. Excellent. Well, thank you again. That's the last one. And thank you for hiring us. Again, we have 3 goals that we can say we were successful in selling your home if we've completed all these things. The first goal is getting your home sold for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. The second goal is that we meet and exceed all of your expectations. And of course, the third goal is that if we do meet and exceed all your expectations, that you refer us to at least 2 friends and family members over the next year. Is that fair of us to ask? Perfect. Well, thank you again so much, and we look forward to helping you.